Coming up on the South Florida High School Football Show, the regular season is coming to the goal line. We'll take a look at Cardinal Gibbons and Carroll City. Larry Bluestein profiles their recruiting commits of the University of Miami. And we'll take a look at some of the key matchups, including Central and University School. All that and more coming up on the South Florida High School Football Show. Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to the South Florida High School Football Show. Joe Zagacki alongside Don Bailey Jr. coming to you from Burger Fi in the heart of Weston. It has become one of our all-time favorite places.
Well, how can it not be, Joe? The food is absolutely delicious. The service is phenomenal. And boy, do they have some desserts.
How were you as a student? Did you have a favorite teacher? Were you the teacher's pet?
Of course. All of the above. I had a favorite teacher, and I positively was the pet.
If you have a favorite teacher, you can nominate that teacher for our Teacher of the Year, our Chevy Teacher of the Year. Go to SouthFloridaHighSchoolFootball.com and nominate your favorite teacher for Teacher of the Year. How about that?
It's a good idea, Joe.
I think it's a great idea. All right, let's get into some of the action. Well, first, I want to salute Coral Springs Charter, having an excellent football season. And let's stay up in Broward County. Huge game this past weekend. We're going to have highlights of it coming up momentarily. Cardinal Gibbons and American Heritage. But let's take a look at Gibbons going in depth. They've had themselves a really good season. Got upset a couple of weeks ago, but they are primed to make a solid playoff run.
Sometimes, Joe, these losses help you as the season goes on. It brings you back down to earth. It exposes some of your weaknesses. It allows the coaches to get the focus of the young men back on the things that they need to improve on, and also it makes you go back to your basics.
They're outscoring their opponents 37-11 as we come to the end of the year, and they are led by an outstanding quarterback.
Well, the key with the quarterback is that he's got the ability to get the receivers on the outside the ball at any given opportunity. The thing that's amazing about the scoring of the points, when you talk about a 3-to-1 ratio, 30 points to 11, it gives you a lot of room for error, but they haven't needed as much as you would think they would.
27 touchdowns, 4 interceptions also. That's a pretty good ratio. You like those numbers?
That's outstanding. You've got 6-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. That is as good as you can ask for.
Also has two great receivers, Don, Trevon Lee and George Rushing. They're averaging over 15 yards a catch, so they're getting big plays.
That's an amazing stat, but they're also getting into the end zone. It's one thing when you're catching footballs, especially at that distance, 15 yards per catch and falling down, but they're getting in the end zone and creating points, as the 33 points tells you.
Mike Morrill is the head coach there in his 15th year, been very dedicated to high school football in Broward County, dedicated to Cardinal Gibbons. Those roots are really paying off.
He really has a great reputation. He continues to build on that program. He has his culture in place, and each and every week they put an excellent product on the field.
We'll have more of the big game of Gibbons against American Heritage coming up in just a couple of minutes. Let's move into Miami-Dade County in the playoff hunt. They had a 4-game winning streak earlier this year. The Chiefs of Carroll City.
It's nice to see what's going on at Carroll City. The Chiefs of old are back on a roll. As you mentioned, they had the winning streak. They've got a great quarterback. They're doing wonderful things on offense, but they're also running the football, Joe. And Carroll City has always been known for their defense, and they're playing it.
Trayon Gray is the quarterback, a University of Miami commit. Runs it and throws it.
Yeah, he's a dual threat. He's a great athlete. He understands both concepts. He's not in a hurry to run it because he has an arm that allows him to complete the passes that are needed, but also when things break down, he can move the chains and become that dual threat that you talked about.
How about this? Going into the final regular season game of the year, no interceptions.
That is an amazing feat. And when you think about that in today's game where there's so much 7-on-7 and the passing game is such a huge part of everybody's offense, to go through an entire season without a pick is remarkable, and he's getting great coaching from Aubrey Hill.
Carroll City had good wins earlier in the year over Homestead and Killian. They are making progress under Aubrey Hill, as you mentioned.
Absolutely, and Aubrey is known as an offensive guy. He's a former wide receiver at Carroll City, so he's back home helping the hometown squad get better, but I'll mention it again, have a very productive defense, which is helping keep them in a lot of games as well.
We move a little further south. Westminster Christian, already district champions. Their head coach is Cedric Irvin, who is one of the all-time great running backs in the history of Miami-Dade.
You're not kidding. He did a great job in Miami-Dade and then went off to college and did a phenomenal job as well. Ced's doing a nice job as a head coach. He understands the game, and what's nice about him is that he can relay it to the student athlete. He gets them to understand what they need to do to be successful at their high school football.
They always seem to have themselves a good quarterback. A couple of years ago, it was David Thompson, who's now playing third base at the University of Miami. Now it is Hunter Boyette. He's got nice skills.
Yeah, David set the example there. He was a dual-purpose player, played baseball, and as you mentioned, football, and then went all in towards the baseball side of it. But now the quarterback position there has been solidified again, and we talk about it week in and week out. If you have a quarterback, you have a chance.
They have Boyette throwing for 2,000 yards, and then running back Jordan Cronkite, 1,000-yard rusher.
What a combination. 2,000 yards out of the quarterback position and 1,000-yard back, and we still have some games to be played. Shows you what kind of balance that they are creating there offensively. Makes it very difficult to defend, but a 2,000-yard passer is a huge number in this day and age.
Tough to lose games when you don't give up points. Westminster Christian this year, 3 shutouts.
Well, listen, it's all about the balance and all about the understanding that you are most of the time not going to outscore somebody. If you have a defense that can create a shutout, even one in a season is remarkable, but they're up to 3 at this point.
All right, that's a good look at 3 teams having really good high school football seasons. Don't forget, nominate your favorite teacher. The trophy is spectacular. It comes with a little apple.
Make sure you nominate that teacher, and Joe, don't take a bite out of the apple.
All right, let's get some of the big highlights for this past week. Here's Joe Rose.
All right, Joe and Don, busy night on Friday. Let's get right into it. Here we go, over to high school ball. Cardinal Gibbons wishing they had the week off. American Heritage already up 7. First play from scrimmage for Cardinal Gibbons. Peyton Bender finds the wrong receiver. Jawan Dowse picks off Bender, turns it into a pick 6 the other way. Chiefs get the ball back. Then it's Brandon Vicens coming up with the interception. This one gets returned for a touchdown as well. It was 44-17 at the break. Heritage really got it going offensively as well. Sony Michelle ran all over the Chiefs. Sony taking the carry, running 70 yards, virtually untouched to the house. The Patriots roll big, 71-24 the final. A close game between Deerfield Beach and South Plantation at halftime. But this one would also turn into a blowout. Deerfield senior quarterback Denarius Graham rolling out. Can't find a receiver and keeps it himself. Sneaks into the end zone. That made it 14-8 Bucks midway through the second quarter. Deerfield down 2 in the third, but Graham using his arm this time goes deep to a wide open Justin Morgan, giving Deerfield back the lead, and the route was on. Deerfield would score 28 unanswered points in the second half. Graham showing off some nifty moves, navigating through traffic, finding the end zone, his second of the day on the ground. Then the icing on the cake, Aaron McNeil bounces outside. He goes 70 yards down the sideline. Deerfield Beach cruises in the second half, scoring 28 unanswered points. They win big, 42-16, the final.
The South Florida High School Football Show is brought to you by the U.S. Army, Tico Peoples Gas, The Chamber, Metro PCS, South Florida Chevy Dealers, Broward Health, BurgerFi in Weston, Vitamin Shop, and 560 QAM.
A few years ago, I decided to push myself further. College, graduate school, degrees in aeronautics and engineering. And I learned that being my best means getting the best from everyone around me. Becoming an Army officer taught me to set high objectives and quickly rise to meet them. Kinda like a rocket.
An Army officer learns to reach new heights and inspires others to do the same. Can you? Find out at goarmy.com/officer.
He's a 20 years straight, get to work on time. He's loved one woman for all his life. Everybody knows he ain't just tough, he's strong.
The all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado. Strong for all the roads ahead.
The recruiting segment is brought to you by Metro PCS, wireless for all.
We're back on the South Florida High School Football Show. Joe Zagacki with my partner, Don Bailey Jr., coming to you from BurgerFi here in Weston. When the show's over today, I'm going to settle in I'm going to have a double cheeseburger.
Good for you, Joe. You're getting a little skinny. You can add up on those double, and I'll take a double veggie burger.
Sounds like a good combination. Another good combination, please go to SouthFloridaHighSchoolFootball.com and vote for your favorite player, the Tico Player of the Year. The more you vote, the more your school wins. You vote for your school, we're going to take care of you.
That's right. Vote early, vote often, but vote.
All right, no voting required here with Larry Bluestein. He's going to break down the top recruits in Dade and Broward County going to Orange and Green. He's going to take a look at some of those top players in Dade and Broward County, and this is where the University of Miami has to make a living.
Dial up Old Blue and let them tell them how many of these blue chips are headed to the U.
Metro PCS, LG Optimus, F3. Old Blue, Don and I want to know about the blue chippers going to the University of Miami.
Well, Joe and Don, I got to tell you something. We went through the entire positions from offense and defense. Now we start talking a little bit about commitments and players that are going to make a difference, and we start with the University of Miami. And let's start it off right off the bat, guys, if we will, with some of their commitments. Locally in Miami-Dade County, Nigel Bethel, we had an opportunity to watch him many times. Defensive back out of Miami, Booker T. Washington, cat quick, strong kid, very elusive guy. He loves to mix it up and hit a little bit. Speaking about that, you have Mike Smith. Now, if you've watched any of the games this year with Northwestern, whether it be the St. Thomas game or the Booker T game, Mike Smith was just unbelievable. He's going to be a guy that I've kind of predicted that would come into this class with the University of Miami and play a major role. Reminds me of just a little bit quicker Tariq McCord, and everybody knows what Tariq's done since he's gotten here from the west coast of Florida. One of the big guys that Miami tried to land early on and took him to go from Bayside High School in Palm Bay down to Champagnat Catholic. That's Trevante Valentine, 6'5", 320 pounds. This is a kid, I can't tell you how fast he moves around the field. He does so many good things. Great program, and this is a kid that made the right decision, and he's going to University of Miami. And certainly out of Dade County, we can't leave out a running back like Joe Yearby. Record-setting, has an opportunity to do something that no other player in Dade County history has ever done, has gone to 4 state finals. If he can accomplish that, that is big time. So Miami and Dade County, as you see, they have other kids that are committed, but that core of players, unbelievable. Let's move to Broward County. This is where Miami's really helped themselves over the last couple of years. First of all, let's look at a guy that we all know, Linder, last name. His brother starts. This is Nick Linder from St. Thomas Aquinas, an offensive lineman. This kid's born to play the center position. Just a quality kid, very intelligent, does so many things right. Plays in big games. Remember in New Orleans against Miramar, huge games. Speaking about a huge game kid, Terry McRae's a linebacker. A lot of people don't hear much about him. He's from Blanche, Ely. This is a guy, I'm telling you, he goes sideline to sideline. He's a very strong kid, very under the radar. That's what Miami likes. Certainly Brandon Powell's not under the radar. Whether Miami ends up using him as a cornerback, whether they use him as a running back, a line from scrimmage running back, or a slot kid, he's going to do something. This is a big-time football player, perhaps one of the top 5 overall football players in South Florida. And certainly another guy I got to bring up from Broward County, certainly because he's under the radar, Dennis Turner. Miami's recruiting him as a cornerback, but he's a wide receiver. Whatever happens, this is a kid that can fly. He's a student of the game. I'm telling you guys, when you look at the University of Miami, they split it up pretty good. Dade County, very good athletes. Broward County, as usual, getting on the Hurricane bandwagon. It's a great class.
Here's how you can help Larry Bluestein in his fight against kidney disease. You can send your donation or support to Our Boy Blue Foundation, P.O. Box 3181, Hollandale 33009. In addition, if anyone would test as a living organ donor for Larry or anyone else, please contact Jackson Memorial Hospital at 305-355-5194.
The South Florida Chevy dealers will be recognizing outstanding educators and handing out $4,000 in donations. Help us by nominating a high school teacher for the 2013 South Florida Chevy Dealers High School Teacher of the Year Award. Chevy will award a crystal trophy to one teacher in each county, plus each teacher's school wins a $2,000 general donation. Visit SouthFloridaHighSchoolFootball.com to learn how to nominate a teacher for consideration. We're accepting nominations until January 17th. The winners will be announced February 5th.
Welcome to the Chamber Sports Performance Minute. Steve is going to take us through today's segment.
Here at the Chamber today, we're going to talk about metabolic training. One of the biggest mistakes that I see a lot of younger athletes do is they're not really properly conditioned. Understand that fatigue leads to overuse, overuse leads to misuse, misuse leads to injury. So what we're going to try to do today is give you an example of metabolic training specific to a sport. We're going to have Jarvis here just get into the treadmill. He's going to try to give me a 6-second go with a 12-second rest, and we're going to do 3 of those in a row. Ready? Go. Ready? Go. Ready? Go. Break. The biggest thing is we want to be able to measure power output, his ability to generate that power in a consistent manner, which will help him in his fourth quarter play.
For more information or to contact us, visit chamberfitness.com.
The South Florida High School Football Show is also on Facebook at sfhsfs. And you can follow us on Twitter at HSFBall and Instagram at sfhsfs. You'll receive weekly updates from our insiders, news, announcements, and game day scoring updates from all over South Florida, plus deals and offers from our partners.
For outdoor projects large or small, avoiding buried utility lines is more than food for thought.
What happened?
Know what's below. You or your contractor should always call 811 before you dig. Utilities will mark your lines for free. Brought to you by Tico People's Gas.
Broward Health is good at keeping muscles and joints in motion and out of pain. So good, they treat some of the nation's top athletes. So good, they've been selected to perform joint replacements on retired players. And so good, they handle more ortho cases and perform more joint replacements than anyone else in Broward. So if you're a senior with joint pain or an injured athlete of any age, trust the team Ryan Tannehill trusts.
Broward Health, powerful medicine.
The Coaches segment is brought to you by BurgerFi in Weston, all natural.
We continue now in the South Florida High School Football Show. Joe Zagacki and Don Bailey Jr. from BurgerFi here in Weston. Come on out and see us and grab a burger, a delicious drink, some fries, and an outstanding dessert.
Joe, you know about the desserts better than anybody, but this menu is absolutely delicious, and they have something for everyone.
Every week we profile one of the top coaches in Dade or Broward. This week we're going to profile Art Taylor. Art has been at Deerfield Beach, been at Cooper City. Now he's rebuilding Everglades. He's been a winner wherever he goes.
He absolutely has, and does he have an eye for talent? And he can build a team. He builds them quick, and he builds them consistently.
Art Taylor now with Chris Chambers.
Thanks, guys. We're here with Coach Taylor. Been around a little bit, Deerfield, Chaminade, Cooper City. Now he's landed here. You got a home here in Everglades?
Oh, yes. It's a great place to coach, great place to work. Got a great administration, Mr. Arbar, AD, athletic director Fred Azrak, and Miss Laura Cohen. I mean, it's a pleasure to be here. Very, very fortunate.
We'll get out here and need a little bit of the off-season program. How has that helped you during the season so far?
Tremendously. There's a lot of work that's been done here, in the off-season, hard summer workout, lifting and conditioning. And, they have to learn a whole new system. That's hard for anybody when you come in.
Nice. Yeah, can you talk about your system? I know we got a chance to do a little chalk talk before. What kind of system would you guys be trying to run this year, offense and defensive?
On defense, we run a 4-3, base cover 2 or base cover 3. Offensively, we run a multiple package. We have some wing tee blocking techniques, but we'll throw the ball. I say we're a rushing team. We like to pound that ball, but we're pretty multiple.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Now, I see you here on the home. We're talking about the swamp. We got to see what that means here. What is the advantage of being able to play at home, obviously, with the guys and being able to come out here and work hard with the rushing attack that you have?
Well, playing at home is always an advantage, especially playing a team like Miramar. And I found out why they call it the swamp, because past that 40, north of the 40, it's a little wet over there. But it's always a good thing to play at home in front of our fans.
That's good. Thanks, Coach.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah, Coach Taylor here in the swamp, man. Hopefully we can get that field taken care of. Back to you guys.
Don't forget to check out SouthFloridaHighSchoolFootball.com, where you'll get recruiting overviews powered by Larry Bluestein, a review of the top 20. We'll preview the top games in Dade and Broward County, we'll catch you up on Shaquille Jackson's blog and game recaps. You can nominate candidates for the Player of the Year and for the High School Teacher of the Year. Catch any of this season's TV shows you may have missed, plus a whole bunch more.
Tico Peoples Gas is awarding the Player of the Year award to one player in Miami-Dade and one player in Broward. To nominate a player, visit SouthFloridaHighSchoolFootball.com. Look for the Tico Vote Here icon. Nominations are open until November 30th. The players take home a beautiful crystal trophy, and the schools that vote the most receive a $500 donation. The winners will be announced during our National Signing Day TV show on February 5th.
Time now for the Broward Health Injury Report with Dr. Gelb. In this report, we're going to talk about how you can prevent ACL injuries.
Yes, the ACL is obviously a very common injury. Injury prevention involves strengthening the muscles around the knee through exercises called plyometrics. Cincinnati Sports Medicine developed this in the 90s, and this is a program that we now use as a regular part of injury prevention, strengthening the quadriceps and hamstrings through a jumping program. We also use this at the end of our ACL reconstruction process to help prevent future injuries.
There was a time where you would find the ACL more prevalent in female athletes than male athletes, right?
Yes, that was the impetus to create this program. So plyometrics, the jumping program, is essential to prevent injury in both the male and female athlete.
All right, doctor, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Laura Dramidges with this week's U.S. Army All-American Bowl nominees.
First up is Rashawn Shaw out of Fort Pierce Central. This defensive lineman stacks in at 6'3", 230 pounds. Shaw is a tackling machine. He racked up 86 tackles last year, with 25 being tackles for a loss and 14 sacks. After narrowing it down and choosing Louisville back in June, UCF looks to flip this Cardinal commit after the Knights defeated them, and Shaw went on an unofficial visit last weekend. Next up is Chris Lamons from Plantation. Lamons is 5'9", 170 pounds, and has all eyes on him. It's no surprise that this top-notch cornerback received offers from Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, and Miami, just to name a few. He clocked a 4.41 40 time, giving him the ability to keep up with just about any receiver. Interestingly enough, Lamons also takes reps at QB, typically in a Wildcat set, where his playmaking abilities can be put to use. In deciding where he'd like to play next year, Lamons chose the Florida Gators in late August. Up next, Trevante Valentine out of Champagnat in Hialeah. Valentine tops the charts at 6'4" and just under 300 pounds. This 5-star DT sure knows how to consume an offensive line. As if Valentine's size and quickness wasn't enough, his best features can be found in his sound fundamentals. His use of arms and footwork are phenomenal. Valentine decommitted from the University of Florida in early January and gave his verbal to Miami in July.
At Metro PCS, we believe in the power of the period. It keeps you from spending too much on wireless.
Unlimited data, talk, and text. $40, period. Everything you want. Even the taxes and fees are rolled right in. $40, period. On a nationwide 4G network, no annual contract, $40, period.
That's period power. Everything you want, $40, period. Only at Metro PCS.
He's a 20 years straight, get to work on time. He's loved one woman for all his life. Everybody knows he ain't just tough, he's strong.
The all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado. Strong for all the roads ahead.
Welcome back to the South Florida High School Football Show. Joe Zagacki and Don Bailey Jr. Time to take a look at some of the big games coming up here in high school football next weekend. Our broadcast game on WQAM. A little audible, but it's going to be a really good game. Deerfield and St. Thomas, they've had some great games in the past. With a preview, here's Mike Levine.
Thanks, Joe and Don. Our game of the week, this is an awesome one. Deerfield Beach and St. Thomas Aquinas. You may remember Denard Robinson, great quarterback, running quarterback in Michigan. He played at Deerfield Beach, and he beat St. Thomas at Brian Piccolo Stadium. So, obviously, that's years removed, but some revenge on the line and all that good stuff. But St. Thomas Aquinas, Deerfield Beach, how about that for a star-studded D1 Fest? And that'll be a great broadcast game to do. Joe, Don, back to you.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Another big game, this one in Miami-Dade County. It should be a great one. Coral Gables and Southwest, these two teams are having great seasons.
They are, Joe. They've been playing against each other for many, many years. Coral Gables is resurging again as they once were a great, great football team in South Florida. And then also, when you bring up Southwest, they're another team that has shown improvement throughout the whole season.
Southwest is going to have to deal with a terrific running back in Greg Howe. Over 1,200 yards rushing this year.
Outstanding job by him. The offensive line has opened up the holes. They have enough of a passing game to keep themselves honest, but they've made a living running the football this year.
Southwest has one of our favorite players, quarterback DeAndre Pickett-White, and he can beat you in a lot of different ways.
He certainly can. He's a guy that is equally comfortable moving around the pocket. He's got an arm that's adequate enough to throw the long ball, but he's got some touch to go with it as well. And you just like saying his name.
22 touchdowns and 3 interceptions for DeAndre Pickett-White. So Gables will have their hands full.
That they will. They're going to hope to try and get a few takeaways, but it's very, very, very difficult. This man has managed the football extremely well and is very wise when it comes to throwing the football away.
At Travis Stadium next Saturday, a big one, Central taking on University School, another game where the Titans are going to collide. Both teams will be battle-tested for the playoffs.
They certainly will, and this is almost a playoff game in its own right. Central, as we know, stacked with all kinds of D1 talent. They've had an outstanding season. Roland Smith's done a nice job in his first year there. He's doing a good job grooming this football team, and he's been in the playoffs. And University School will give them an opponent that will test them and find out exactly where they are at this point of the season.
University School is going to have to deal with those running backs, Joseph Yerby and Dalvin Cook. They've combined for 2,000 yards and 34 touchdowns.
It's amazing. Maybe one of the best tandems in the United States at the high school level at the running back position. And Central has utilized both of their skills tremendously.
If you got a quarterback, you've got a chance. University School has themselves a quarterback in Sean White. He has a target as well in Sam Bruce, and those two are hooking up for big plays.
Well, White and Bruce do a nice job. They understand each other. They have that chemistry. White, as you mentioned, a big, strong-arm quarterback. He's a D1 prospect. He is a guy that understands the passing game, but he's got the touch that's needed to make those completions and get that ball in the end zone.
Well, it's hard to believe we're coming to the end of the regular season in high school football.
Well, Joe, it's a great year. We enjoy every single minute of it, and the high school football in Dade and Broward County keeps getting better and better every single year.
And don't forget, go to SouthFloridaHighSchoolFootball.com and vote for Teacher of the Year and Player of the Year, and your school could be rewarded with some money at the end of the year from us right here on our show. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week on the South Florida High School Football Show.
The South Florida High School Football Show has been brought to you by the U.S. Army, Tico Peoples Gas, The Chamber, Metro PCS, South Florida Chevy Dealers, Broward Health, BurgerFi in Weston, Vitamin Shop, and 560 QAM.
Change the way they think with your shoulder pads and with your play and with your attitude. Fellas, play fast. Another stepping stone. We got to chop the tree now. There's 3. Before we just said 8, right? I can remember that just yesterday. After this, come on, it's gonna be 5. The hell of business is everybody together, hell of your business, and let's get there. All right, let's go. A lot of pride today, fella. A lot of pride. Do your assignment. All right? Don't let